Hello, welcome. Today I am going to be doing something a little bit different. I have 4 minis here that I've built over the last sort of year. They all have lights, and for anyone who's ever built a mini, you would know that each house has a little battery pack for each light. And each battery pack takes 2 AAA batteries. They're often hidden in little hard to reach areas with a little switch that you turn on to turn them on. To be honest with you, I have not turned any of these on since I built them because I just couldn't be bothered. I don't have enough batteries and it's just annoying having to turn each one on. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to attempt to wire them all onto a circuit board that I can then plug into the wall and turn it on with the click of a switch. Quick caveat, I'm not an electrician. I've never done this before. I really don't know what I'm doing. I've just done a bit of research, so please don't take this as a how-to or copy or follow what I'm doing because this could go horribly wrong. That being said, let's get into it.
Okay, so this is the circuit board that I purchased. I got this one from Amazon. I'll pop a link in the description below. It comes with this big wad of wire, so that's like an extension wire that you can use to wire the houses to the board. That's the board itself, much smaller than I expected. It also comes with a bunch of other wires to connect to the board as well. So there are these big connectors and smaller connectors as well. And at the same time, I'm just in the top right there laying out where I want my minis to go and figuring out how much wire I need to go from the minis to the circuit board. So it comes with lots of different wire connections. It also comes with some connections to add a switch to it. So instead of turning it on and off at the power point, to turn it on, you can just leave it on at the power point and then add a separate switch to it. But it does not come with the switch, so that's something you'd have to buy separate. So that's one connection, which is the one I decided to use because it was the easiest, that just clicks in. So there's only 6 of those provided in the kit. And then there's these pin connectors which go on the side there, and there's positive and negative sides. Then there's also little inserts on the top and bottom where you can feed the wire directly into it. I'm pointing out here a switch there, so 3 volts and 12 volts. You need to make sure the switch on this circuit board is flicked to 3 volts because the lights are rated for 3 volts. Any higher than that and you could potentially blow the lights. And that's where you plug the power into, just like a AC/DC pin adapter. So these are the tools I'm going to be using. So I've got some tape, some scissors, some heat shrink tubing, and then also some pliers too. First up, we're working on the coffee shop. This is the second mini I built. I'm not doing the first mini because the first mini I actually stuffed up the wiring and it doesn't work and I just don't want to pull it apart. So here's the battery pack. First thing I'm going to do is separate the battery pack from the lights that are wired in the kit. Um, you could leave that connection and then just cut the wire off the battery pack, but I don't see the point in that because if it's easy for you to de-wire it, just go ahead and do that. Now I am prepping my long extension wiring, so that's that red and white wire that came as excess in the kit. I don't have a wire stripper, so this was the hardest part for me, was getting the coating off the wire because I didn't have the right tool. And a couple of times I broke a few pieces of the wire. You can see the wires, lots of fine little threads. I can confirm that if you break off even 1 or 2 of those threads, it will not work. So make sure you have all the wiring threads intact. And I've just put some shrink wrap tubing over that, which I'll seal off once I've confirmed it works. So now I'm connecting that extension cabling to my mini house wiring, making sure I'm connecting the right wire to the correct one. And this is now, I'm prepping the connecting part to the circuit board. So stripping the wire here, and then I will connect it to the extra length of red and black wire that goes to my mini house. So that extra length allows me to place the mini house a little further away from the circuit board if I need to. So a lot of wiring management. And it's really important to make sure you have a good connection between the two wires. So I'm just going to test it first before I seal up my connections. And let's see, does it light up? It does. So that's a big relief there. So now I'm just sealing up my shrink wrap tubing. I don't have any other means of doing this, so I'm using a candle. Next, onto Magic House. So it's basically just rinse and repeat here. I'm disconnecting the battery pack, attaching my extra length of wiring to the lights. This one was harder because the length of wiring wasn't as long. And then connecting that to my connector that goes straight to the circuit board. I'm probably using the wrong terminology here, so I do apologize. As I said, I'm not an electrician. Plugging it in and testing. It did not work. So I didn't know what I did wrong there, but basically what I had done wrong was I had broken some of the wires while I was wiring it and didn't realize. So that's when I say you really need to make sure that you don't break any of the wires because it will not work. Moving on to my cat cafe. So this is my favorite mini, by the way, but again, just same process, removing the battery pack, attaching that extra length of wire for the red and black, and then attaching that to the circuit board connector, plugging it in, making sure it's all connected. And does it work? Oh, it works. And finally, our MacLaren's pub, the most recent mini I've done, which has 11 lights. I actually tested the lights still worked before I did this because there's so many. But same process, removing the battery pack and then attaching the extra length of wire. I actually found I got faster as I progressed. So the first one took me like 40 minutes and then this one took me like 15 minutes. So I got much faster doing it as I progressed and practiced. This was the most time-consuming part. And does it work? Oh, it does work. Now I'm popping all of my kits back in the display cabinet into the spots where I want them to be and plugging them all into my powerboard to see if they all work. Flicking the switch and none of them work. Okay. Well, in this context I did what everybody does and I went straight to ChatGPT. So it said that it was possible my power draw was too high, my wiring wasn't good, or the circuit board design was possibly not sufficient enough. So I had to do a little bit of troubleshooting. So the first suggestion was to see how many houses can the board power. So try it with, well, we know it works with 1, try it with 2, and then 3. Does it still work at 3? And then at the 4th one, everything shuts off. So I did that. And what happened was it worked with 3. So some more troubleshooting. I asked if it was 3 volts was sufficient, and it said that yes, it was. And basically worked out that it was a problem with amp draw. So the amount of amps to power the 4 houses was not coming from my board. It was only enough to power 3, basically. So that was my next question. Well, why is that the case? After a few more discussions, I was advised, so I asked if the power board was sufficient enough and told it what board I had, and it said, yes, it is great. That board is fine. And the problem was my power adapter, that it wasn't outputting enough amps. So I had a look at my power adapter, which admittedly was one I just grabbed around the house. It didn't actually say what the output of amps on it was. It said it had 9 volts, but it didn't say. So ChatGPT basically told me that I need to buy a power adapter that outputs more amps. So I'm going to do that. Now that may or may not fix the problem, I don't know, but for now I'll just have to be happy with having 3 lights that work on the one power board, which hey, is still pretty good. With the flick of a switch I can turn 3 minis on at my power board. So we know that this works, we know that the power board is good and should power many houses. It's just a matter of the plug you plug into it. Who would have known? Not me, I'm not an electrician. So please, I will give you an update once I do get a power board. I'm pretty poor right now, and I know they're probably not that expensive, but I might need to wait till my next pay to buy it. So stay tuned. I'll post a video when I do get a new power cord and let you know if it will power all 4 and potentially more in the future. If you like this video, please leave a thumbs up, and if you want to see more of my stuff, hit the subscribe button. I make videos of me building minis and my thoughts, and I would love for you to join me and share your thoughts and experiences and tips too. Thanks for watching.